Guys, I've been following this Commanders offseason every single day, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of how this receiving corps situation was going to play out. But then Stefon Diggs opened his mouth at an event recently, and I'm telling you, what came out of that interview completely changed how I'm looking at this offseason. And it's not even just what he said, it's the way he said it. It's where he was when he said it, and most importantly, who was standing right next to him when he said it. I've been connecting dots, and I think once you hear everything I'm about to break down, you're going to see exactly why I believe something big is coming for this franchise real soon. What's good, everybody? Welcome back. So today, I'm breaking down the entire Stefon Diggs situation, what it actually means for this receiving corps, and then I'm also going to talk about Luke McCaffrey, because honestly, after what came out of OTAs, that conversation needs to happen too. Let's get into it. So first, let me just lay out exactly where I stand with the Diggs situation right now, because I think a lot of people are still treating this like some casual off-season rumor, and it is way past that point. The guy grew up in Gaithersburg. He went to the University of Maryland. He knows the DMV better than most people, honestly. He's been out here training at local gyms, showing up at events in Maryland, just completely planting himself in this area. And look, free agents do not do that unless there's a real reason. You don't just hang around a city for months if you're not seriously considering playing there. So when people ask me if I think this is real, I mean, come on, the smoke is too thick at this point. And then you've got the quotes. He went on 1067 The Fan, and he said, "I definitely want to shed some light on them and might go check them out for a little bit." Now, I know that sounds like a political answer, and yeah, it kind of is, because he's a free agent, and he's not going to just come out and say he signed with the Commanders before he actually signs. He's not saying that about the Chiefs. He's not saying that about the Rams. He's saying it about his hometown team. And on top of that, sources close to Diggs told reporters on May 8th that his preference is to stay local. So it's not just what he's saying publicly, people around him are confirming the same thing privately. And then that most recent clip dropped, and honestly, that's the one that really got me fired up. He was at an event in Maryland. Trevin is literally standing right there next to him. Somebody brings up Washington, and Stefon goes, "That's what everybody's talking about right now. We're going to talk about it real soon." I mean, what more do you need? That's not a guy who's undecided. That's a guy who's just waiting for the right moment to make it official. And the fact that Trevin was right there when he said it, that adds a whole other layer to this thing. Now let me talk about what Stefon Diggs actually brings to this offense, because I feel like people are genuinely sleeping on how good this man still is. Last year with the New England Patriots, 85 catches, just over 1,000 yards, and 4 touchdowns. On the Patriots. You know how hard that is? He was honestly their best offensive weapon, and they made the Super Bowl. And look, the only reason he didn't hit 1,000 yards in 2024 was because he tore his ACL in Houston. He was on pace for it. 496 yards in 8 games. If you run those numbers out over a full season, that's easily over 1,000. So I'm talking about a guy who has hit that 1,000-yard mark in 7 out of the last 8 seasons. And the one time he didn't, he was literally hurt. That's not a decline, that's just bad luck. And here's what I really want people to appreciate about Stefon. He's done this with so many different quarterbacks on so many different teams. The Vikings, the Bills, the Patriots, different systems, different styles, different everything. And he keeps producing. That tells you everything about who he is as a receiver. He's not a product of one system or one quarterback. He just knows how to get open and make plays. And now you're telling me I'm potentially watching him line up alongside Jaden Daniels. I mean, honestly, that gets me excited just thinking about it. The receiving corps right now is Terry McLaurin, and then a pretty significant drop-off after that. There's Antonio Williams, the rookie out of Clemson, who the team is clearly high on, Dyami Brown, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane. I like those guys, I do, and I have real hope for some of them. But I cannot sit here and tell you I'm confident banking on those guys to carry this offense. Terry McLaurin is the one proven weapon on this roster right now, and every defensive coordinator in the league knows that. You add Stefon Diggs next to him, and now opposing coordinators have a real problem on their hands. Now there are 2 legitimate threats that demand attention, and that opens everything up underneath and over the middle for Jaden Daniels to work with. That's not a small upgrade. That changes the entire dynamic of this offense. And the money makes complete sense, too. The Commanders have over $44 million in cap space. Even if Diggs gets signed for $10, $15 million on a one-year deal, that is completely workable. You're not locking into anything long-term. It's a prove-it situation for him, and honestly, a low-risk, high-reward move for this team. And if people are bringing up Brandon Ayuk, look, I get the excitement. I understand it, especially because of his relationship with Jaden Daniels. They go way back to Arizona State. But Ayuk hasn't played in an NFL game in over a year and a half. He's coming off a serious knee injury. The 49ers are playing hardball and just stonewalling everything right now. That whole situation is just messy and dragged out. Diggs is right here, right now, healthy, proven, and he wants to be in Washington. That should not be a complicated decision. Now, I know some people have floated the idea of signing both Diggs and Ayuk, and honestly, with the cap space available, it's not an impossible idea. You bring in both of those guys alongside Terry McLaurin, and on paper, that is one of the most talented receiving trios in the entire league. Best case scenario, Ayuk comes back healthy, that chemistry with Jaden is everything people think it's going to be, and now defenses literally cannot breathe trying to cover all three of those guys. Worst case, Ayuk struggles to get back to where he was, and Diggs is right there as a legitimate number 2 who you already know can produce at a high level. Either way, you're covered. So yeah, personally, I'd be very open to that idea if the numbers work. Now I want to shift over to Luke McCaffrey because I promised I'd get here, and this is actually a really interesting conversation right now. A couple clips came out from OTAs recently, and people went a little crazy over them. And look, I want to be honest about this. It's a t-shirt and shorts workout, no defenders, so I'm not going to go overboard about it. But credit where it's due, Luke looked genuinely good out there. Sharp cuts, good ankle flexion, no wasted steps, getting out of his breaks cleanly, and for a guy that a lot of fans basically wrote off or wanted to move on from, that matters to me. Here's what I think people keep forgetting about Luke. Going into this season, before the draft, before Antonio Williams was even in the picture, Luke McCaffrey was the projected starting slot receiver on this roster. That was the plan. And when I go back and watch his 2024 tape specifically, I see a guy who actually has some real football intelligence. Coming from a quarterback background, he understands how to find the soft spot in the zone, how to present himself to the quarterback at the right time. The athletic flash is there, too. The route running needs refinement, no question about that, but the foundation is real, and I think people dismiss that too quickly. Now, obviously, if Stefon Diggs signs, Luke's role gets significantly smaller. He's probably the 4th or even 5th receiver on the depth chart at that point. But honestly, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world for him right now. He doesn't need to be asked to carry a heavy load this season. He just needs to keep developing, stay ready when his number gets called, and contribute in whatever way this team needs from him. And when you've got Diggs, McLaurin, and potentially Ayuk ahead of you, all the pressure is completely off Luke to be something he might not be fully ready to be yet. That's actually a decent situation for his development if I'm being honest about it. So when I put all of this together, Diggs basically living in the DMV, the quotes he's been dropping, the prediction market sitting at 51%, the cap space, the fit on this roster, I genuinely believe this is happening. And when it does, this offense takes a real meaningful step forward. Jaden Daniels is already special. I believe that from the jump. Give that man the weapons around him and just watch what happens. I've been waiting a long time to see a receiving core that can actually match what that quarterback is capable of. And Stefon Diggs coming home might just be the move that finally gets this offense to where I know it can be. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know where you guys stand on all of this. Let's talk about it.